I forgot to press play. There you go.
Okay, I've got a message on my screen here. I do small, medium-sized businesses. I finally got a win. I have a client that I've had since, well, a very long time ago, and they have been hanging on to their 2.5 site. And every year it was like, come on, we got to do this thing. And so the other day they emailed me about security because, oh my God, the SSL certificate on the site was, due to renew in a few days, which it auto renews. I said, but while we're talking about security, we have to talk about your 2.5 site on PHP 5.4.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, right. And they were not hearing anything about it before. So that got their attention, and we're just getting the rebuild started for a fresh site.
Congratulations.
So very, very excited about that. So, and that's about what's going on here.
I love it. All right, Paul, do you want to say hello?
Hi, I'm Paul I'm from Portugal. I'm not currently developing anything in Joomla, so I'm just trying to keep up with the news, and I am maintaining some version 3 websites in Joomla, and that's all. Thank you for letting me in.
Yeah, thank you, Paulo. Can you tell me again, you're from Germany?
Portugal.
Oh, Portugal, sorry.
No problem.
And I got to look sometimes when I say, we're going to have the other Paul say hello too, because we have.
Okay. Yeah, Paul Search. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and owner and operator of 3 Cats Marketing. I do use Joomla, and I'm actually in the process of just starting to rebuild my own website as we sort of change our niche to startups. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. Glad to see all of you wonderful people here, and I would love to get a virtual coffee with anybody. I have a little QR code up at the top there, so if you want to get a virtual coffee, let me know.
Wonderful. Up next, let's get Ed Hathaway. I'm going to ask you to unmute. There you go. Ask you to unmute. There you go.
Hey, this is Ed Hathaway from Greensboro, North Carolina. Hey all, Merry Christmas, by the way, and Happy Holidays. I'm an exiled Joomla developer, and we're coming back into the developing world with Joomla 4 with a lot of kicking and screaming. But I do an awful lot of work with Mike, with Coughlin, with their Joomla, and they're 100% Yootheme. So it's a lot of fun to be a part of that new platform.
Wonderful. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
Mary, you want to say hello?
Yeah, I'm Mary from Washington, US, and I've been working with Joomla since it began, and I mostly help small businesses and organizations. I'll be working with a large organization pretty soon and doing a lot of community stuff, and that's me.
Thank you. Anna Robinson, you want to say hello?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Anna Robinson from Stockholm, Sweden, and I'm a graphic designer, but I do some Joomla sites as well for small businesses. Yep.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Mark Holberg, want to say hello?
Hi, from Watertown, New York. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Canadian border. And I'm happy to see there are a number of users who are hailing from Canada. I'm, finally confronting the need to plan out the, path to Joomla 4. I think in addition to that upgrade, there's also opportunities to upgrade sites that maybe were overdue. So there's some opportunity there.
Yeah, we're all going to be going through it together over the next several months, I'm sure. Alan, do you want to say hello?
Yes, Alan, I'm from Plano, Texas, just north of Dallas. And I do real-time embedded systems, but I also help some of my business friends and partners to migrate their websites. I'm currently in the process of migrating, and yeah, hold on, this is PHP 4 with MySQL 5, running on a Pentium 2 server. So they're running like 6 sites on there, and I'm slowly migrating each site over to Joomla. One of the sites actually runs Joomla 1.5.
Oh, gee.
So yesterday, the owner of the site got a hard lesson in security because it was compromised and credit cards were compromised.
Oh, no.
I've been on him for ages to get off that old stuff, and that we needed to work faster on this. And yesterday, the point got drove home hard. So now he's like, how fast can we get this done? And it's like, been on you for over a year to do this. So that's my story.
All right. The day in the life of a website designer, right? Laura, say hello.
Hi, everybody, I'm Laura Gordon. I currently work at Rutgers, so we have about 120 Joomla websites. We're in the process of upgrading them to Joomla 4. And good news is we did our first 4 this week, and it worked. Yes, okay. But that's almost an easy upgrade, even if it's so many, because we made sure we have every single step documented, and we're moving to Cassiopeia template. With my private clients, I have just started myself, like everyone else, going through site by site, bringing them up to Joomla 4. So some are real simple. Others, I just have no words. I have no words. And Olivia will work on that on Sunday. Yeah, I have a site that's in PHP 5.6 with a custom template that they did bleep, a bleep, a bleep. And it wasn't mine. And I kind of just got brought into the mix. I think I've broken this site on the test copy 5 or 6 times already, starting from scratch again. Good news is the client is willing to pay. So he knows that they're so way back that they just have to pay for the hours. So that's the key, is when you're doing a job like this, you got to be honest about the number of hours, and the client needs to pay for it, you know? And I said, dude, I'm already at like 20, 30 hours of work. He's like, all right, just keep going. I'm like, all right, we're going to keep going. So it's tough, but most of the sites, I have to say, Joomla 4 is so fast and it's so much fun, and there's so many different options, and it's really a beautiful thing. So it's a really great excuse to have these important conversations with your clients to get the sites up to date, and well, I'll get through. So that's it.
Wonderful. Pat, want to say hello?
Yeah, is this the time where I'm supposed to say the big hello or just the small one?
You're our spotlight today. That's right. Okay, we're going to get back to you. She's a big hello today. Thank you for reminding me. Frank, do you want to say hello?
Did you call on me?
Yes.
Oh, hi, I'm Frank. I'm in Oxnard, California, which is south central coast of California, and I own a single member California limited liability company. Been working with Joomla since version 1, and currently managing several sites. Fortunately, nothing on PHP older than 7.2 and nothing older than Joomla 3.10.11. A lot of Joomla 4 upgrades going on right now. And I've been using on Joomla 4 the Helix Ultimate and Helix Framework and Joom Shaper templates. So I find that a little bit easier than Gantry. So I don't know if there's anybody has any nasty remarks about Joom Shaper, but they've been pretty decent for me, and that's what I do. And I want to say hello to my fellow Scandinavian, Anna. I'm a transplanted Norwegian. Hey, for they. Hey.
Hey.
Love it. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, and next, Mike, do you want to say hello? Are you here for the first time?
Yes, I am here for the first time battling a cold, so I'll keep it short. Been developing in Joomla for probably 12 years now, and I work with Ed Hathaway. We've been switching everybody over to Yootheme Pro for all of our sites, and then also migrating them to PHP 8.1 and Joomla 4. Whatever it is for that week. So we're in the process of trying to get everybody up to date and really appreciating all the support and the great work that people are doing.
Wonderful. Where are you joining us from?
I am also from the Watertown, New York area where Mark is from.
Wonderful. Lots of New York folks. Olivier, speaking of New York, but you're not in New York right this moment.
All right, yeah, from Brooklyn, but I am visiting my family in France right now. I'm the release manager for Joomla 4.3 and working hard on it to make sure that it's going to be nice for you to use. I also starting to see things like people contacting me, asking me to move their sites to Joomla, coming from Squarespace or WordPress. So I get a lot of more of those. So I'm very excited because it seems like Joomla is picking up.
Good.
So that's great news. So I'm doing some maintenance as well. I make extensions for Joomla, and a lot of you are my customers. And it's so funny to see all of you here. And then that's it for me.
Wonderful. I love his latest News Enhance thanks to his presentation he did earlier this year. I use it all the time now. Tim Davis, another one from Canada, joining us from the West Coast.
Yes, greetings from the left coast of Canada, where the sun just rose about half an hour, or just a bit off screen over here, and it was very
Bit
nice.
early for you, Tim.
Yeah, that's okay. I was up late. Anyways, yeah, Tim Davis here, Cyber Consulting. You guys probably know me from my YouTube channel, Basic Joomla Tutorials, and so I hope that if in your projects you'll consider me as a resource. If you've got some questions, I like helping people, and if you need a quick answer for something or to talk something over, then just contact me, and of course it goes up from there if you want to pay for some consulting or some help or whatever like that. Would mention, Olivier said that Joomla seems to be on the uptake or increasing. I had Philip Walton on a live stream last week, and Joomla had its first increase, I think, in like 10 years in users, and was in the CMS market, was the top grower in I think was the month of November. But anyways, you could check that. That's not totally what he was talking about. He was talking about Joomla 5 and that, so you might like that live stream. And also PHP Web Design has an extension, Migrate Me 4. They also have extensions that still work to go from Joomla 1.5 to 3 and 1.6.7 and 2.5 to 3. If you've got a lot of just like core content, you just you just import the database, and then you can start rebuilding all your other stuff from there. So for those of you that have super old sites, if you're looking at a lot of articles to move or something like that, you might want to check that out. And I could answer questions about that or give you the link to that later on, but that's a resource that's out there too. So
I think I'm going to go that route when I'm ready, maybe after the new year. Anne, do you want to say hello from New York?
Yes, I'm Ann Noter Thomas. I'm from Syracuse, New York, and I'm the owner of eCamria. And I mostly work with small, mid-sized businesses, nonprofits. Last month, I mentioned that I was going to meet somebody who was dead set, wanted a WordPress site. And I did convince him to go with Joomla. And so far, he's very happy. I also have to mention that on my 3.x sites, I was mostly using the Helix templates, and starting with 4, I've gone to the template creator CK, and I've been sometimes using his Pagebuilder CK, and some of the other tools like Olivier's latest news and I am just having more fun than I ever had building sites. And I'm excited about the new features I'm starting to see in 4 that, I'm running into accidentally, and it's really exciting, and I'm glad to hear that it's growing.
Good, good, good. Joe, say hello from Canada.
Yes, yeah, I'm Joe from Canada. My website brand is Joe Joomla, and I'm currently involved in a conspiracy with Canadians to increase our presence on virtual jugs like this one. So along with Allison and Tim Davis, this is the most Canadians I've seen in a virtual jug for a long time. So hello.
And Paula, we already heard from you. And is that a different Allison or just an Allison?
Oh, that other one is, I'll be switching to that when Elisa gets her presentation going, because I don't want to watch it on my phone.
Okay. And Mark says that, what did Mark say? He's from Brussels and he can't talk right now. He's a big Joomla fan and he loves custom fields. Yorgos, are you here? You want to say hello? Did I say that right? You're not muted. Okay. If you decide you want to say hello later on in the meeting, just give me a holler.
He doesn't have a microphone icon, so
Okay.
he might not be able to.
All right, so you're just observing today. Before we go to Pat, I just want to throw this out there. If anyone who introduced them to you today sounded like someone you want to talk to offline, I highly encourage setting up a time to go one-on-one on a Zoom with any of our members. We only get to talk for a really short time, so it's not a lot of time to get to know each other. So please, outside of this monthly meeting, reach out to fellow members and grow those relationships. And next, we're going to have Pat, and she's going to have a 10-minute spotlight. Thank you so much for volunteering when last month not so many people were willing, and I really appreciate that. You can share the screen as well. I've opened it up.
Okay. All right. I thought it was 5 minutes. Now it's 10 minutes. Oh, gosh.
Well, you can leave a few minutes for questions.
Okay. I'm nervous, but that's to be said. So let me just start with my background in computers. It started in 1969, and I took a key punch course, and they had us hardwiring boards in an IBM machine. And this was, it was just thrown in as part of it. And to me, it was like arts and crafts because you did it on paper. And then you would draw it with colored pencils, and I'd make sure my lines were a certain way, and it was fun. But I didn't get to do any more of that sort of thing until about 1992, because in the meantime, I got married and moved around, and it was, but my first husband was always encouraging me to get into computers, because we set up in the 70s, well, mostly the 80s, we were setting up networks in our office. And it was kind of unusual, except they didn't call them a network. They called them masters and slaves. It was very politically incorrect, but that's what they called them. And so when he passed away in 92, I went back to school and got my degree in information technology and became a mid-range computer programmer with the banking industry, and got involved in GUI interfaces and designing those. And eventually 9/11 came along. And when that happened, then I lost my job. One of the key players or owners of the business I was in at the time was in one of the towers and was killed. Even though I was in Memphis, it was, it was a domino effect. Everybody got affected in a certain way. And in Memphis, at least, they just started laying people off left and right. And my second husband then said, look, we've got the house out in the country. If you don't have a job, you don't need the house. And if you don't have the house, you don't need the job. So we just put the house on the market and moved everything out here. And I got bored. I couldn't get a job, couldn't get any job. I couldn't dig a ditch because I didn't know the right people. And so I thought, well, I'll get involved in eBay and start selling things on there that were in my house that I no longer had a need for. Found out that the only people that make money on eBay is eBay. I went really deep in debt with that one. But while I was doing that, I started picking up about, websites were becoming popular. And so I started teaching myself how to do Microsoft front page and dealing with the database and getting involved in all of that. And I got a call from a man in Denver, and he said, "I see you're high up in the search engines. Would you like to learn about Joomla?" And I said, "What's a Joomla?" And so then he explained about Mambo and Joomla. This was in 2005 or 6. So it was really early on when Joomla became known. And he taught me over the phone. I mean, back then it was easy. It wasn't that much. There weren't that many bells and whistles. So you could pretty much boilerplate it. And that's what he was doing. And then he'd say, "Okay, you can get 2 websites built in a day." But I wasn't real proud of them. And but then what he was doing was going out and selling the websites to clients. So I was getting $150 a website. That was not much, but it was better than selling on eBay. And then the job opened up in our little town. We are the last county in Tennessee to have a chamber of commerce. And I applied for it knowing full well I didn't know anybody. It's the kind of community where if you don't know someone, you're not going anywhere. You're an outsider. And I hadn't been here even 10 years at that point, and I didn't go to school here either. But I applied for the job and I got the job, and I had a ball with it. And I made contacts all over the state and all these communities around where we are. And in the meantime, I'm still building Joomla websites. I'm doing that part-time at night and on weekends, and building my skill set. And so by the time 2010 came, I had over 100 clients. And that was on top of working a full-time job. So it was really getting difficult, and I had to make a choice between the two. Well, design is my love, even though I do love talking to people. That was a fun job, but I was ready to move on. And that's what I've been doing ever since. I had at one point, this is again, my second husband died 9 years ago. And when he died, I went off the deep end, and I didn't even want to read a magazine. I had no attention span whatsoever. And I lost quite a few clients during all of that. They had to move on, and I wasn't. So, but then when COVID came along, that actually became my friend, because the state of Tennessee was awarding grant money all over the place. They were shoving grant money at all these small communities, and they all wanted new websites. All my clients wanted new websites, and they're coming out of the woodwork. And, right now I'm running probably about 17 websites, not many compared to the 100, but I'm retired. And
You are.
no, I don't feel like it either. And when I remind them, I said, "Look, I'm 76 years old. I don't know, how I'm going to get some of this stuff done." And they all go, you're going to be around forever." But I'm not. I really am not. None of us are. So anyway, that's when my business became reborn. And most of the sites now are in at least 3, and I'm trying slowly to get them into 4. I love working in 4. It took a little adjustment, but it's like somebody said earlier, you just discover stuff all along the way of things that are a little bit different, and what you can do now, and how much easier and smoother things run. And of course, now, like the last 2 days have been spent getting all my websites updated that were in 4. because we just came out with another point release. And so anyway, that's me. That's what I do. And I live here in the mid, and the picture behind me, by the way, that's a state park that is about 1.5 miles from my house. But that's the Tennessee River in the picture. So it's in a little alcove, and I take my dogs walking over there, and I do my photography. I've gone back to school after, I went back in 92 for programming, but I went back in 2015 to take graphic design. I wanted to become more sophisticated in the work that I did, and so that I could do my own graphics. I already know how to talk to these people, the mayors, the officials that are city managers. So I go in when I get a website, and I go in and I start an interview process, and I map out for them what I want to do with photography. And I insist that somebody take me to these places. And then I do interviews, and I record the interviews. And I pull together all of the material that becomes the copy. And it's not an easy or fast task at all. And sometimes they're not very understanding, but mostly they have been. And then, and I also took a photography course to try to get, so all the pictures on my websites are 90% mine.
Oh, wow.
I got tired of paying people for pictures that I'm taking of an area that nobody's going to have other pictures of it. Mm-hmm. And the thing another thing that's important to me is to have the copy that's in the website accurate. So we became a new judicial district in Tennessee this past year, and all the rules changed as to where the judges were coming from, what days they were going to be here. And instead of having court 1 day a week, now we're doing it practically 5 days a week. And so on the court's website that I do, I try to keep the dockets current, and I try to keep the information on the calendar current, but they have to feed it to me. And sometimes that's the hardest thing, is to get the client to send me the information. They are very resistant. It's like, oh, it's a bother. You're a bother. And then I hear people in the grocery store say, why don't they keep that calendar up and keep it current? Well, I try, but you can't put on there what you don't know. So anyway, I've got my computer up with, I could share websites with you that I'm working on.
Cancel.
Huh?
That's the end of time.
Oh, good.
10 minutes go by fast. That is an amazing journey you've had with Joomla, and so fascinating to learn more about you. If anyone else wants to set up a time to chat with her outside of this group, feel free to do that. And I was also noticing the connection you had to Houston, which isn't very far from Austin. So if you want to head home and go to a J-Day USA event, feel free to go back to Texas.
Right, I'm a Texan.
There you go. All right, so next we have Elisa, and she's going to talk to us about Yootheme, and she was requested at the last meeting, so we are very grateful that she was willing to do this in 1 short month, put together this presentation. You can share the screen, correct? Do you have any concerns or questions?
You mean me?
Yep.
No, everything good. I will share my screen in a moment. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your invitation to your meeting. I'm sorry, I'm battling with the flu, so don't put your speakers too high because I will cough occasionally. So sorry for that. And that's also the reason why I don't show myself up. I'm just not feeling well enough to share the camera, but yeah, I will share my screen now. Desktop. All right. So today's topic is actually Yootheme Pro, but I thought about just show you an overview of Yootheme Pro, some some things you maybe don't know that Yootheme is able to do. Some of you were at the last presentation. I will repeat some of the last presentation. And then I would like to show you some tools I'm using every day that have nothing to do with Yootheme Pro, but maybe it's something interesting and new for you. So first about, and when you have questions, just let me see if I can see the chat. Sorry, one moment. No, it's, does anyone know how to here, team chat, chats. No, I don't see any chat, seems.
If you want, I can monitor it and I can
Okay, great, okay.
interrupt you if there's something comes up.
Great, thank you. So I have here Playground set up with Yootheme Pro. There's actually just one, oops, already logged out. There's just a multilingual website set up with 3 welcome articles, and I did nothing and just installed Yootheme Pro here. And after installing Yootheme Pro and assigning it as a main template, you see it here in the third-party components. And when you click on Yootheme, you access a side-by-side view. The site is offline, so I have to log in. You have here a side-by-side view. On the right, you see the preview of your website, and on the left, you have a lot of settings for Yootheme Pro. And now let's start first to see the style library, for example. If I go here into the style library, I can select in which main style the website should appear. Here below style, I have a drop down, and when I click on this, I get a preview of all the pre-built styles Yootheme Pro made. I don't use the styles because I use an optimized style sheet I made for myself for faster loading times. I come to this topic later. But for playing around or for fast building a website fast, you can select one of those styles. Let's select just one of them. For example, design escapes. And now I have here a style set up. And if I want to change something about the style, I have here a lot of settings, font size, colors, and everything. And I can also preview all UI components on one page, so I know what I'm changing. And when I'm hovering one of the elements here, I see a tooltip that hints me where I could change this element. So for this here, I have to go into the base and into the nav settings, and then I could change the color here for this element. And then I only see also the elements that can be changed with this sub style. So we can come back to the style settings later. I explain you the builder. So I have here a Joomla article, a regular Joomla article. And when I access the builder, I have a side-by-side view again, and I can create a new layout here. And I have here a lot of sections. I can create several sections when I click here on the left side. And I can create rows if I click on the plus here on the right side. And every row is able to have columns. Here on the right side, where I also add the rows, I have row settings. So when I click on the pen, I can select how many columns this row should have. And you see here 2 plus signs. So I have here 2 columns, and I can set up various columns here. And you see here empty plus. That means I can add here elements into this areas. And when I click on the plus, I have here some elements I can add here. For example, an image. I see now a preview image. And on the right side, I can add a headline and some text, for example. And then I have also some settings for this row. I can say that this headline and this text should be in the column 2, should align middle to this image. Okay, and now I have here the first row set up. And additionally to the row settings, you have also here section settings here at the top. You can duplicate them, you can save even sections, or you can also drag and drop sections if you want. And if I click here on the pen, I can add here a background image, for example. And in the settings of the section, I can say that, for example, the text color has to be light in this section. Okay, that does not help so much, but in the image, I have also some settings. I can do an overlay color here, so maybe my text is better readable. And you see that you can very fast set up some layouts. And here at the bottom, you have previews for different breakpoints. And when you click here on the phone, you see that it's already just one column on mobile. But if you insist on that it's 2 columns in mobile, you can edit here the layout, and you can say that this is 1/2 and this 2. So you have still 2 columns in mobile, but it absolutely makes sense that it's here just 1 column in mobile. If you're here in the builder, instead of building your own layouts, you can also access the style library from Yootheme Pro. And when you click here on the top, you have here the Pro layouts. It's loading. And there are different pre-built layouts. And when you click on it, the layout loads onto your site, and you can just fill the layout with your own images, with your own text. If the pre-built layout has elements you don't want, you can just remove them. You can drag them around, and it's very fast to build your layouts here in Yootheme Pro. And Yootheme Pro has a lot of settings. So when you play with it, you dive into a rabbit hole, because if you click on settings, there's another setting option. So it takes some time to learn Yootheme Pro. But once you've found out how everything works, it's really, really fast to build a website. Before the meeting, I created a parallax effect in Yootheme Pro, and I saved it in the library. In my layouts, I can save also a layout that I made, and I made this layout before the meeting. And let's see, yeah, works. Let's open it in a new tab. So I have here a cool parallax effect. That's all inbuilt in Yootheme Pro. You can make a column sticky in the section. I've set up the background image here, and I said that this background image should be sticky in this position. And below this background image, I have some headlines below each other, and I just copied it, and they are above this sticky background here. And there are a lot of cool sticky effects in Yootheme Pro you can build with, I show it to you by the pre-built layouts. There's, for example, here, this layout. I think the connection is just a little bit slow. So you see here the phone images here, and in the background, here's a circle, and the circle is rotating at scrolling. And the phones are also having a parallax effect. I download the images. Oh, okay. Something does not work here. Then I just remove the files. Okay. Now, of course, we don't see the effect so much, but but these effects are inbuilt options in Yootheme Pro. You see this font that is sliding and everything, and that can be set up just by clicking in Yootheme Pro. But of course, it's a learning curve. Any questions to the style library or the builder?
Elisa, I have one quick question.
Mm-hmm.
If you use the builder and you build it, can the client edit the content from the front end? Or do they need to, in order to edit the content, do they need to go into the builder to change the names of people and things like that?
Yeah, so front-end editing is possible. The client would see the builder like I see it here, but with the same options. What you can do is one moment, I make a second tab and I show you a client project. So we have here a website, and the website has some Joomla articles. And here are some success stories. Oh, wait, yeah. Here's some success stories, and I have, I look for a specific success story. Here. And that's just a regular Joomla article. I have here the description of the company, and I have here some custom fields with a quote, with the company logo, with project data. Then I have also a testimonial image and the name of the testimonial and his position and the testimonial text. And I have here some additional text from the testimonial if needed. Then I have here a drop down where I can select a gallery, an image path to a gallery. And here's the intro text for the block view. And Yootheme Pro is set up here like this, that the client does not go into the builder, but just fills out the success story here, like a default Joomla article. And when the builder I have here the success stories. Here are all the success stories. And let's go again and do this one. And I have here something, it's called templates. It's not so good term in my opinion, because it's a bit confusing for everyone. Because for me, Yootheme is the template, and now I have a template in the template, but it's called templates here, and I can set up how the success stories should look like here. So here, when I click here on the left, I can say that all success stories have this layout. And now I go into the builder, and you see here by this database icons that I pull here dynamic content. So as a site builder, I prepare the layout, I prepare this template, and I pull everywhere here the custom fields of the article. So here in the header, I pull the intro image of the article, and the title, the intro image alt text. Then here on the left side, I pull the custom field of the testimonial, and so on. You see that everywhere there's a dynamic content. And I also could add some static content here. So you're not obligated in the templates to have only dynamic content. You can add static content, dynamic content, and the dynamic content can be pulled from the article. Let's go into the dynamic content settings. Here, do you have dynamic content pulled from the article? Or you can pull dynamic content from the previous article. So you can make maybe a box, read next, and then pull the image of the next article. Or you can select a custom article in the template, or you can even direct to a folder where some files are in, and then you can, let's see, I have here gallery at the bottom. I can pull from a folder images and then connect the custom fields to the image name, to the file type, and whatever. So there are different possibilities how to pull dynamic content. And yeah, that's a very comfortable way to make the customer not touch the builder, but edit the contents just, oh, wait, my screen was gone, to edit the contents from the front end and not to break any builder layout.
Elisa, there's two questions now in here. One's from Anna. Is it possible to get access to the UI component library for Yootheme Pro? Like to get them in Figma, for example? Am I asking that question correct, Anna?
Yeah, sorry, I'm aware it's not really correctly written. So yeah, I'm wondering the UI elements, the library for its UI kit, it's the same thing, right? UI kit is used in Yootheme, right?
Yes, UI kit is the CSS framework, which is
Yeah.
used.
So do you happen to know, that was my question, if you happen to know if it's possible to get that whole library somewhere and get it into Figma?
No, sorry, I don't know about that, but to be honest,
just to try.
It's about prototyping. You will be faster to just create the site in Yootheme and show it to your client.
Yeah, I guess.
It's not so much needed to pre-build it in Figma. That's double work.
Yeah.
And also Mark had a question. Can you please show us how to use the CF of type subform in the builder?
Yes, so if you are in the article itself, and let's go into the playground, and because it was the live site, let's create a subform field first. Oh, there's something. Title. I don't know if that's my playground, so I don't know if, yeah, we can use the subform here. So I have here a gallery with the image and a title, and I can select the image here. Let's take this Earth image. Earth 1. And let's see if I can copy paste it. Yeah, great. Earth 2. And, oops. 3. Okay. I think that's all. Save and close. And now I go into Yootheme. And I create an element of the type gallery. And now instead of adding several items, I just add one item. And in the advanced tab, I say dynamic content article. And here's a setting multiple item source. And here I can select my subform field. It's called builder gallery, which means image gallery. And in content, I can now map the URL of the image and the title. And it's not visible. Maybe I am here. Earth 1, 2, 3. Ready. So this is what the customer or you can edit in the article. And then in the template or in the builder, pull it from the article itself. Which one was it? I think this one. No, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions about that?
Mark? Oh, Mark isn't speaking. Hopefully that answered his question. Anyone else? You don't have to type in. You can just speak up now if you have any questions.
I have a question.
Sure.
If you're using a, if you're migrating from an existing site, or you're just trying to change templates, so you already have all the articles, so you'd want to use the dynamic. What about the widget kit? Would you use these galleries kind of thing, or would you use the widget kit, and do you have to upgrade to, I guess, the later version of widget kit?
Yeah, so there's a new version of widget kit, but I'm not sure if it's needed to use it. Actually, all sites that used widget kit before, I migrated it to Yootheme Pro because you have all in one place. You have all these elements here, and you don't need widget kit anymore. You have here, for example, accordion and a slideshow and so on. I don't know if there is something that could be missing. I don't think so. And yeah, that's a little pain to migrate all the widget kit stuff. I know, but I think it's better to have all in one place.
If I'm not mistaken, widget kit 2 to widget kit 3, you have to recreate all the widgets.
Yeah.
Doesn't change.
Okay, and just to confirm what Laura brought up, when they if it's dynamic, if the article was brought in dynamically and they go to the front end to edit, they can edit the article just like you do a normal Joomla article.
Yes, so you can say you don't give any access to the builder, to the client. They just fill in custom fields and the content, and you take care of the template. I have always, in real life, I have always a mix of both. So There's, for example, the success stories I showed you. The success stories are all the same layout, and the customer fills it in, but the homepage, for example, is very unique. So I take care of the homepage and I take care of the builder there, and the customer does not do there anything. But you could, of course, also pull dynamic content on the homepage. It depends on how much the customer should do or not.
Right. And I have one other question. If you're starting scratch from a brand new site, what's the process you go through, the procedure in terms of creating articles, menus, which when you're using the builder, what comes first?
Yeah, so I
find myself jumping around and
so of course you create the website structure with your client and define what are the topics you want to present on the website, and then you have a look which sites will look the same. So this is absolutely a candidate for the templates.
Right.
And my process is to first create a builder page and show it to the client. And if he agrees on the builder page, then I start to create the custom fields and connect it with dynamic content, because if you want something else, then I created all the custom fields for nothing. So first I let him agree on the template, and then and then I create the custom fields and connect it to the source. And in the beginning, you said you are creating the template on Joomla 3 and you want to migrate it later to Joomla 4. And I have to say, from my practice, this is the best and safest way to migrate a website to Joomla 4, because all the custom-made templates, they are still on Joomla 3. And all my Yootheme Pro projects are already on Joomla 4 because it's a one-click migration. It's very easy to migrate from Joomla 3 to 4. And I highly recommend it. I want to show you something special about the dynamic source. I showed it already in the other meeting, but some of you did not see it. There's an extension for Yootheme Pro. It's called Yootheme Pro Essentials. And in Yootheme Pro Essentials from Zoolenders, you can create some more custom sources that are not connected to your website. You can create a source to your Google business profile, so you can show your Google reviews on your website. You can create a source to your Cloudflare stream, to your Instagram account, TikTok, YouTube, Vimeo, to a CSV file that is stored on FTP, to a local or external database table, or to a Google Sheet. And that's really nice because you can show, for example, here your Instagram feed, and the images from Instagram are even cached. So you don't have this problem, but privacy laws in Germany are really hard. We are not allowed to show any external source on the website. We are not allowed to show any Pinterest, YouTube or something on the website before the user explicitly agrees to it. So here the Instagram images are cached and we don't have any issues with the privacy. And for the Google reviews, this is actually also a Yootheme Pro website. For the Google reviews, you can pull the image from Google, the name, the date of the review, and the text, even the translation that is made by Google, and display it on your website. So that's really nice. And in the last session about Yootheme Pro, I showed you this website here. It's actually not a real website, but it's a real restaurant here in my hometown. And here I have a custom source connected to a Google Sheet. And the Google Sheet, where is it? Sorry. Zoom is overlaying everything, so I have, here's my Google Sheet. So what you just saw on the website, all the data with the food, can I just all the food here, all this is a Yootheme Pro element. And this is saying daily dishes, cake, snacks, main dishes, everything was here. All the drinks that are here, they are managed by this Google Sheet.
Wow.
Title, description, allergens.
It's possible to have pictures?
Yes, I think so. Yet you would need to add here the image path here and either have an absolute path or a relative path to your website. But here, the main point of this is actually that the customer that maybe, we always say you can go on the website and log in and change the contents. But some customers, especially like this customers, they are always busy. They don't want to log in into any website. They just want to go on such a Google Sheet and change the price for a dish or change the daily dishes. French fries. They want to change it here and have it updated on the website automatically. So before we had here this title, and in the next 60 seconds, it will update itself to French fries. Nice. So the customer does not have to take care of the login of where do I have to click on edit the content or something. He has just the Google Sheet, maybe even as a shortcut on his phone, and he's logged in into his Google account all the time and change here the contents, and voila. So
Elisa, Mark has some questions about sub form layouts, sub layout elements, sorry. He heard that, I don't know what JD 22 dash, that's a hashtag, that soon the sub layout element could be used in a grid using the same source of dynamic content. That would be great. Do you have any views or news on that? And with other words, you would not need Grid Pro anymore if you want to add more fields.
Yeah, so the question about the sub layouts, there's another element here in Yootheme Pro. It's called sub layout. Oopsie. Here, sub layout. And with this, you can dive deeper into the layout because you have here with the pen this kinds of column settings. And if you need it different, you can create a sub layout. And in the sub layout, create another layout. So maybe here, here quarters. And I have here maybe image. I just do something, video panel. Okay. And then I divide this by 2. And now I have here 4 columns and here 4 columns. And of course I can access here dynamic content as well, if I want to. But if I'm in a block layout, I think the question is related to the block layout. I cannot access the article sorry, I have to think, subform. So this is the sub layout element, and custom fields, this is a sub form. So if you're in the block layout, you cannot access the subform single elements. That's not possible. I think the question is related to this, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Lisa, we forgot to have you introduce yourself at the beginning of the presentation. As we're wrapping up, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself and your role in the community and what you've done?
Yeah, so I'm from Germany, as you hear, and I lived in Nuremberg. And since 3 years, I live in Schwäbisch Hall. It's a small town between Nuremberg and Stuttgart. I show you how it looks like because it's very beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This is actually here. Oh, now the image is smaller. This is the town I live in, and I'm sitting here in this building. So I'm in the middle of this historic town, and it's really, it's like living at a vacation place. It's very, very beautiful. And I run a one-woman business. I have an assistant. She's working part-time for me, and she's doing all the content edits and maintaining some sites. But basically, I work on my own, and I build own templates. But I think that Yootheme Pro is really a game changer for building websites. You can build websites so fast with a high return on invest, if I can title it like that. And I'm self-employed since 2009. Before I was working at an advertising agency, and my role in the community, I skipped the roles. I started as a design lead in 2016, I think. Yeah, I think it was 2016. I was design lead in the marketing team. And later on, I was vice president. I had this role like an interim position until I until Tiana overtook the role. She was from Africa, and yeah, I recruited her to apply for the role because we wanted to make some African outreach. And I thought it's the best way to outreach to Africa if we have someone in leadership who is from Africa. And yeah, now I have been recruited to the UX team in Joomla. I was earlier also involved in designing the Joomla 4 backend. It did not turn out quite like I designed it, but yeah, many opinions. Many results, but I think the team made a great job on building the back end. And I think that you all agree that in the beginning, a lot of people were resistant towards the new layout and said that it's too big and yeah, not comfortable, and the menu on the left sucks and everything. But I think that you all agree when you have some projects on Joomla 3, you feel like going back way in time, and the Joomla 4 is really nice to use and comfortable to use, especially here the dashboards and directly accessing the article, and it's so super fast. So I think the team building the backend template made a really great job, and yeah, it's getting better and better.
Yes, I think we can all agree that once we're in Joomla 4, we don't want to go back to Joomla 3.
Yeah.
Mark came back about the sub layouts. He said, question
Okay.
is put sub layout in grid.
Into the grid. No, that's not possible.
Okay.
And I don't think it will be possible. So if you have here a grid, you cannot add a sub layout to it.
Okay.
You rather have to maybe build here your own grid and then multiply it or something. That's the only way you could do it. But there's this external element. It's called Grid Pro. It's from Flat Studio. And this Grid Pro element is really powerful. And you can add a lot of fields to it. And Grid Pro has the sub layout feature here. So you can add here. Into the grid, image, headline, text, and pull this from dynamic content in Grid Pro. I just don't know. I think we have to. You have to enable it somewhere in the settings. There are a lot of settings here. Here, enable. Okay, here's the sub layout I just built. I don't need the custom fields now.
Elisa, thank you so much for this demonstration behind the scenes. I hope everyone learned a lot from watching you today, and can definitely reach out to you if you have more specific questions. I did make sure that we got all those questions asked. And it was so interesting to learn more about where you're from and what you've been doing in the Joomla community. I didn't realize you were part of the team that made the hard decisions on changing that whole look and feel of Joomla 4, but you're absolutely right. It came out beautifully and people are very excited about it. Any other questions or comments from the group for Elisa before we wrap up?
I know I would like, yeah, just one thing, Elisa. You said in the beginning, you said something about having made your own more lightweight. You were not using the Yootheme Pro. You had your own more lightweight. Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Thank you for reminding me about that. So Yootheme Pro is also overrideable. So you can create a child theme, but you don't create the child theme like in the new Joomla version, because Yootheme had child themes before Joomla had child themes. You create a folder. It's named Yootheme _ and then any name you want. And then in this folder, you can override the elements from Yootheme, and you can add our own less file here. And what I did here in the file, let's zoom in. I have here my theme, and I pull here my custom fonts. And I pull in here a customized UI kit less file, and then my base and my custom styles. The UI kit customized is the most important thing to make your theme lightweight. There are all the UI kit styles that are used for the template in this file. And if you are sure that you don't use some of the UI kit components, you can just comment them out here and make your template more performant. For example, if I know that I don't use any accordion, I just comment it out and I save the loading time for this. Or I don't need any thumbnail, I don't need any, maybe I don't need any breadcrumbs. So I can comment it out, and in the oh wait, here your theme. Here in the style, I just select my own style for my child theme, and it's very performant. Then let's see. Let's make a live test on this one. I don't know how it would turn out. I did not test it for a long time. Okay, on mobile I have 87%. That's not so nice. Could be a bit higher, but on desktop I have 94. And actually I had on the site 100%. I think at least I had 100% on this. Of course, it depends also on the server, loading time and so on. But you can optimize the template. And there are also additional plugins to speed up your Yootheme Pro. There's
Yes, the Revo theme optimizer. Yeah, that's what I'm using.
Yeah. Here's some tweaks he made to Yootheme to make it faster. So you can buy and install this to improve the loading time as well. The loading time is of course depending also on the elements you use. So I have a very, very long page here with a lot of elements. Of course, the loading time can't be that fast like just a simple site. Well, maybe here is maybe just the imprint. It's maybe a more fair review.
And I know there's another meeting coming up shortly for open source matters, right? I appreciate you coming here and presenting to us on the same day.
No problem. I don't know if I will attend the meeting because of my flu. But it was important for me to attend to this meeting, and I'm happy to show you some things about that. One more thing to show you is this. With Yootheme Pro, you are able to build also a mega menu. So you can use the builder also to build the drop down of your menu, and it's very comfortable. So this is very nice feature, and there's a nice component called JFilter, and if you go here into the store, it's not online yet. I have custom fields with the bike brand, with the bike type and size. And with JFilters, you can filter by custom fields, and you can integrate JFilters also in Yootheme Pro. So if I want to see only the specialized bikes, I can filter by them. If I just want to see the S specialized bikes, then I can filter by this. And this is a very nice feature also.
Sorry, did you say JFilters?
Yes, it's J from Blue Coders. Blue Blue Coder.
Okay, thank you.
Printers. And they have also a Yootheme Pro plugin. And
there's
here we have Mark as a testimonial. Yeah.
I think we're gonna wrap up real soon. Thank you so much,
Okay,
Elisa,
thank
for
you.
taking
You're
the
welcome.
time, even though you're feeling under the weather, and presenting a very hot topic for our members. They asked specifically for a presentation on this, and taking the time to come here today. Few housekeeping items. I have down January 19th as our next meeting. I'd love a member to do a spotlight, and Pat can tell you it wasn't so bad. So if you don't volunteer to me specifically during the meeting, I might reach out to you with an email, so don't be afraid. Again, we're really looking forward to a great J-Day USA event in April down in Texas. So if you have any questions about that, maybe you even want to volunteer and help us out on site. So, but otherwise, just come on down and have a good time with us. We'd really love to have you. And I will work on a topic for next meeting, but if you have any suggestions, I'm willing to, I write them down every month. We also said we'd love to maybe do a networking or a mastermind meeting at some point whenever we don't have a speaker. So that'd be good. Learn more about each other and maybe share some topics about being in business and how we're all doing in business, and maybe share some great tips. Otherwise, everyone have a very safe holiday season and a new year. See you all in January. I was very excited. This was our last meeting of 2022, and what a great group it's been, and so easy to lead. You guys are all so wonderful, and if there's anything I could be doing differently to facilitate the meetings, or push the invites out there, or share things with you, anything you want to see done or try differently, please reach out to me at any time. And growing, yes, 21 people today without much effort. So keep sharing this group with your friends, and I'll keep putting it up there on the joomla.org. You're very welcome. And thank you, Pat. And thank you for Lisa. See you all real soon.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.